What is going on, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs? You're listening to another episode of the Rebellion Wrestling Radio Show, and as always, I'm your host, Ryan, aka Mr. Showtime, and I'm joined once again on the phone, the Bat Phone, by the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Joe Dub. Joe, what's going on, my friend?
Alright. What's going on, Mr. Showtime?
I am so pumped right now. It is finally Friday. I'm on a mini weekend, or I'm not mini weekend, a little mini vacay, because we got that long weekend coming up. That's the advantage of those bank holidays there. And
it definitely gets the spot on 3-day weekend. So
absolutely, and I'm also just what better time to talk some big time professional wrestling. We are indeed on the proverbial road to WrestleMania, has been made very apparent by the recent WWE pay-per-views. We had Royal Rumble that you were over for, and we just had the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So it's always an exciting time of year if you're a pro wrestling fan. And, we got some house cleaning business to take care of as far as news. But before we get into that, I do want to thank everybody for listening right here on Spreaker.com, right on the Stolen Show Network. For all past episodes, guys, check us out online. We have a sweet website. It's at www.rebellionwrestling.com. We got some videos up there from our YouTube page, every past episode. We're working on our archive section where we have some interviews with talents from the independents, some wrestling legends, some people from Impact Wrestling, WWE. So definitely we're going to get that up and running soon. It's just a matter of doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff, which is always fun. And shameless plugs. Joe, do you like t-shirts?
I love t-shirts. I'm wearing a t-shirt now.
All right, and I'm wearing a t-shirt. But guys, if you don't have a t-shirt or if you want some extra t-shirts, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Rebellion Wrestling. Get yourself a kick-ass wrestling shirt that supports our show, Rebellion Wrestling Radio. We also have a design for our sister show, the Hardcore Geek Podcast. All proceeds that we get go to kind of keeping the lights on, getting us an opportunity to do this amazing high performance show, quote unquote, for you for free once a week right here. So, help us. We'll love you long time. So today was one of those days, right? We we got the notifications that came in. And with professional wrestling, it pretty much comes with the territory. As fans, we have some of our legends or our beloved superstars that do leave us and unfortunately pass away. I remember we were working in the same building when Dusty passed away. And that was really rough. And we found out today that George the Animal Steele passed away. And it was kind of out of the blue because I think I read somewhere that he was having some health issues, but they really kept it on the DL as far as the internet is concerned, and especially the way that professional wrestling is with the internet. How did you find out today?
I got the text from Bleacher Report, and then I got one from ESPN as well.
Oh, man. So, I'm trying to find the, I don't think they really go into the cause of death here, but, he was 79 years old.
I don't think I've seen that.
Didn't see anything about the cause of death?
No, that's all it said. Just date of birth, year of death, and that he was 79. And then WWE posted in regards to him, and I think they have some clips on their website as well.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. I actually, I was introduced to George Steele like when I was a kid. Like, my dad bought me a couple like WWF like VHS tapes, and The very first time I saw him was when he accompanied Ricky Steamboat to the ring for the match with Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3. And I remember seeing this guy, and my dad would tell me about, how he would fight Bruno Sammartino all the time when they would, make the rounds to the Garden and, the round to the old Cleveland Arena. And, how he used to be a bad guy and, eating the the turnbuckles and all that. And he was just really, for that time, for that period, George Steele was just really like, he was a character in an era where I think wrestling was still trying to be, a shoot. It was still trying to be, just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I guess real, quote unquote.
True. Yeah, I understand where you're going.
Do you have any memories of George the Animal Steele?
I remember seeing him face a couple of the other greats, like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat. I've seen a couple of those matches back in the day. They don't, what's a good phrase? They don't age well, some matches that people would say that are like match of the year by year and stuff don't, because nowadays with wrestling, it's more up pace, more of a faster pace. So,
oh, yeah.
And with back then, body slam with somebody finisher. So
yeah, I know, right?
But yeah, he was at times he definitely was dominant in the ring, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so really, really sad to hear that. This comes off the heels of Chavo Classic passing away, and our Chavo Guerrero, father of Chavo Guerrero Jr., obviously. So you never like to see this happen. Did you heard about Chavo Classic, right?
Yes, I, as well as saying just like Jersey Animal. I got it through Bleacher Report and ESPN. I actually got another alert that, unfortunately, Vader said that he's in his last days, too.
I did read that, and they were talking about, he put this tweet online about, entering his final days, as he referred to it. And a lot of people have been tweeting out to, Triple H and Vince McMahon, WWE and whatnot, to put him in the Hall of Fame. Do you think this is... Here's the thing. I think Vader should be in the Hall of Fame no matter what. But do you think that...
I agree.
Do you think, because of this, that they'll put him in there?
See, that's what makes me a little irritated about it. You shouldn't have to wait till somebody passes or comes close to passing for that to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm not really aware of what they look at for you to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't think anybody knows.
There's a lot of skepticism in regards to it because, this person is in there, but it's so many, it's just so many people who should be in who hasn't. And then the timing of, okay, example, I think Edge is inducted in there, right? Just a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, he went in literally the year after he, retired. Right.
So it's just one of those things. He should be in there definitely. He's done a lot for WWE for wrestling as a whole, but I just feel like it's people over him who should have been in there before him. That's kind of how I look at it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can name a bunch, guys Owen Hart, guys like Davey Boy Smith, Rick Rude, DDP, who I've heard is possibly going in this year. But yeah, there's a lot of dudes that should go in there, and it's kind of weird that they you can kind of it's almost like you could how people predict WrestleMania. When you have somebody pass away, or you have somebody retire, it's already okay, well, they're probably going to go in the Hall of Fame. Like when China passed away, it's okay, well, they're probably going to put her in the Hall of Fame. Well, I don't know if that's really the case. I think she deserves to be there, but it's almost like it's making it a little too obvious if that's what they do.
speaking of Hall of Fame, I'm still waiting on them to have an actual site. I feel like if they had something like how the Football Hall of Fame is, it would make it more, I guess you could say, believable. Because there's a lot of people who, they understand about the Hall of Fame, but it's not like a physical thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you would think by now, too, it's 2017, they would have been at it. And I know it's been issues with locations, some at one point it would be up there in Connecticut, but then others were saying that it would be in Florida. Where do you, when it finally comes to fruition, where do you think the actual location should be?
In my opinion, I think that there's so many operations going on down in Florida, especially with the Performance Center being down there. I think that would be a good location, and that's more of a destination for people who would want to go see it. I heard rumors that the old NBA restaurant in Universal Studios was going to be the place, but I don't know how true that was. But
I did hear that as well, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think because if you're if you're Vince McMahon, if you're whoever's running this thing, right? And you have this physical Hall of Fame, who you're going to want to tout this as a location for die-hard wrestling fans to go visit and pay money to go to and whatnot. Maybe Connecticut is maybe not the best place. New York, possibly, but, I mean, there's already so much in New York. And I look at Florida and Orlando with the Performance Center being there, with Disney World, Universal Studios. It's kind of like and for me, it's almost like a no-brainer. Put it down there, and, everything's kind of all together there.
I agree. I definitely agree. And, it would make logical sense from that aspect. We know why the Football Hall of Fame is here. That's pretty much where football started, in Canton, Ohio. But, you can't just have this WWE Hall of Fame in, Tulsa, Oklahoma or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
and that's no offense to our listeners.
Their location.
Yeah.
Oh, of course not. No, not at all. You just want to make sure that wherever you have it, either A, it benefits just from the fact, traffic, you're going to actually get that traffic, as well as, is there any wrestling roots that you could base it on too? So it's a couple of different factors they could go with.
Yeah, I mean that's the reason why Disney World is not in Des Moines, Iowa. It's not really a spot where people are going to go. You put it in, put one in California, put one in Florida. It gives people a reason to go there.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely.
So yeah, I really hope to see Vader in there. I know George Steele is already in there. That'd be kind of cool to see Chavo Classic in there too. But condolences definitely go out to George the Animal Steele, his family, Chavo Guerrero Sr., his family. I know we're a little late on that, so kind of getting that out of the way. Didn't want to, never news you want to really, talk about, but, it is what it is. So, hey, I know you and I were kind of texting back and forth. We were watching the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Well, first of all, what did you think of the new chamber structure?
It looks high-tech. It looks like Bill Gates or somebody did it. It definitely looks like it's almost like looking at the old steel cages. For example, George the Animal Steel would be in those blue ones, and then you look at today's, and it's like night and day.
Oh, I know.
So it was pretty cool. It was definitely pretty cool in how they had the two sliding glasses, and then the way they locked it from the outside and everything. It was neat. I liked it. They definitely, stepped their game up with that.
Yeah, and oh, I loved it. I mean, I know the reason they redesigned it is because the original one was too heavy, and with most of the arenas in the United States and Canada getting brand new jumbotrons and whatnot, it became really difficult to be able to hang the original chamber above the ring because it was just too darn heavy. So now this new chamber, it's actually taller and it's actually a little wider, but the materials used are a little lighter. So it's going to allow the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view to continue on. But as far as the look of it, it was kind of like one of those. Like, I'm a 32-year-old man, but, like, I was thinking, like, wow, I really hope they make a toy of this, because I really want it. But, and I don't own any action figures, but I thought it was that cool looking. And, while watching the match, it really... Some people complained about the padded floors, which I would want to disagree with any kind of complaints with that, because... that allows the guys to do a lot more moves without the risk of injury. And
right, yeah, that the old metal floors was, man, they would fall and you'd be like, ugh.
Yeah, you would cringe. And even, like, I think Triple H said it in, like, a legit interview, like, out of character. Like, he said that nobody wants to be in the Elimination Chamber because it's guaranteed you're going to get hurt. So, with WWE being smart, especially with, how they are as far as, the wellness policy and making sure, they shy away from anything that's going to concuss people or injure people, this is definitely a smart move. And from a performance standpoint, like, certain little things you notice, like the pods, with the structure being taller, the top of the pods had a flat, almost like a platform, so it allowed the guys to not only stand up instead of crouching, but the pods, they were designed for guys to leap off of them. So it's gonna make for it's gonna make for a lot more memorable high spots, and I think no matter what, you're gonna have people that love it, you're gonna have people that hate it. That's what it is with pro wrestling. That's what it is with movies and everything, and music, and
yeah, you can't please everybody.
No, everything's subjective. So, and so I really enjoyed the pay-per-view. I think it was good. I was really happy to see Bray win. I think that
that first title, right?
Yeah, and not even that. It's just the fact that we're getting something new, and it feels fresh. It doesn't. And I really got to give props to both Raw and SmackDown as far as their writing and their stories going. Even with Raw, like with Goldberg and Brock being there, it still seems like something new. And now we have the whole thing with.
I agree.
Yeah, so they're doing a good job as far as the writing goes. I'm not, I have no complaints there. And I'm obviously I'm a wrestling fan, but we've had those points where it's like, oh man, it's the same old thing, but you still kind of gut through it and you still kind of watch it. But I'm at the point now where it's like, well, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens on Raw. I'm looking forward to SmackDown and all that fun stuff. So yeah, props to WWE as far as their writing. Elimination Chamber, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. But yeah, so that's all I got to say about that. But today's...
It gets a thumbs up on my side, too. Very, very better than what I thought it would be.
Oh, yeah. I think we even said, like, the card on paper looked, pretty weak, but as far as how they executed it, they really delivered.
Exactly, yeah. Absolutely.
So with the Elimination Chamber, the design being, that being subjective, and WWE writing being subjective. Another thing that's really subjective as far as your taste is music, and that's just not music in professional wrestling. That's really just music in general. Some people, hate country. Some people love country. Some people despise rap. I happen to like rap. It's kind of that's the beauty of the world, and I think music, to sound corny as hell, it really does make the world go round, and in professional wrestling, music is really, if there was no music in pro wrestling, it would be, to me, very, very dull. So you and I, we've talked about, having this discussion probably for about a year or so, and we decided, okay, well, let's just do this episode, and we just want to talk about, entrance music and the hype music and just really just like the impact that it has on pro wrestling. And you're a music lover. You're a music creator, as am I. So I think like we kind of have an extra added interest and maybe a slight emotional investment in this type of subject. What are your thoughts?
Definitely, it would be. I'm not going to say that maybe wrestling wouldn't have made it as far because, of course, before the full Titantron and everything like that, people just came out. They just walked out like solo, silent. Mm-hmm. So I think it definitely it makes you. It brings a wow factor to it. We can go on and on about example Royal Rumble, when you're not knowing who the next person is, and when that music hit, you're like, oh wow, So little tiny things like that, and just and then you got certain people. Music is just it's amazing. It fits them, and I think that's a big ups to, as I say it, and I can't even remember his name. Jim Johnson, is that his name?
Yeah, no, that's him.
Creator?
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy is a genius. Like, I actually watched a little documentary on him. It was on the WWE Network, and he was showing how he came up with, like, the Undertaker's theme or Shawn Michaels, just little things like that. And it was cool just to see the background of it, because all we see is when the music hits. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So it's just, like you have, especially like you associate, the theme with the character and with it being subjective, like, as far as like, your favorite themes, and how they make you feel emotionally and how they get you hyped for a match, it's going to be different for guys like you and me, as opposed to, somebody who, maybe is 10 years younger than us that may have just started watching like in 2012, and vice versa. On the flip side of that coin, it's going to be different for guys that watched, back in the 80s,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you proposed a challenge to me today, and this was actually really hard to do. We talked about like picking 5 themes and just trying to, really just narrow down 5 themes. And
now, if you can't come, if you can't narrow it down to 5, because I'm definitely looking at 10 on my list right now. Mm-hmm. we could just talk all about them in general. So.
Yeah, I tried. So let's start with your list, and this is kind of like, there's no particular order of like, this is my favorite, but
right.
Like just like the themes that really stick out to you and get you hyped when you hear them over the television or over the loudspeaker if you're there live.
Not as prevalent now because it's him, but anytime he's come back, taking a little couple of months hiatus and come back, Jericho's music, anytime that the lights go out and it does the countdown, especially when it first did the Y2J and you're like, what is this? And then, yeah, that Jericho's theme music is so dope to me. Definitely. It's immediate. You just bob in your head, and then the most recent Jericho, when he would be standing there with his arms out, with his back towards the crowd, it gets you into that, like, oh man, it's Jericho, let's go. So yeah, definitely Jericho. The Rock. A lot of people love his original theme and everything, and then his newer, more updated, thing. But my personal favorite is Hollywood Rock when he went heel.
Thank you.
That was better.
Because it was different, and it's like, that character was so fun, And
He was. He really was.
And it was like his first trip back to being a bad guy since being, a face for so many years. So it was definitely, that's like an example of the music mirroring the character or the character change.
Absolutely. It went with him, and I think when it happened, that had to have been, oh my goodness, like 2004, 2005 or something when it first happened. And I remember when the music hit, you didn't know who it was. And it just showed the helicopter and it showed the city. And then the beat just dropped and he walked out all slow. I'm like, that's sweet.
Exactly.
It was so amazing.
Yeah, that
so,
was...
Yeah, did he make it to your list too?
It didn't make my list, and the reason I didn't have The Rock in there is really the reason just because he's had so many different themes. I tried to shy away from that as much as I can, but like Hollywood Rock, hands down, is my favorite version of The Rock, and it was the most brief version of The Rock because he was only there for a couple, I want to say like 3 or 4 months, and before he.
Oh yeah, it was very brief. Yeah. Like very.
But it was good. He was a bad guy. He was dominant, but he was also really funny and entertaining. So it was great. I love that theme.
Yes, indeed. What we got? NWO. Period. Point blank. It just. I don't know if it's the Titan trying just immediately black and white, and then and what I really like about it, and they wouldn't always do this because, sometimes they would come to the ring and the music would cut, but if they had the chance where the whole loop would play, my brother got me hip to this. It's towards the end, and I think it's a guitar or something, and it comes in, and it's like,
yes.
And Hogan is usually sitting there doing it. It's amazing. It reminds me of the extremely good old days of waking up and watching wrestling, and it just, yeah. Definitely.
It brings back a memory, and it's that point, like, when it was okay. We were probably, like middle school, high school, around that time, and where for a while it wasn't cool to be a wrestling fan, but then all of a sudden everybody in high school had an NWO shirt, so it was cool again, and you walk up and down the hall, too sweeting your friends and stuff like that. So it was definitely
yeah, absolutely.
It brings back those memories,
Absolutely. And of course, while we're talking about NWO, you know who's next. You already know who I'm going to say next because of that.
Who do you got?
Yeah. Just sitting there and then just out of nowhere, are you ready? And it's immediate. Like, the first time I seen it, I got confused because I'm like, what's wrong with my TV? How are they doing that? How's that on my TV screen? What's going on? So, DX is just, even the later renditions with just Triple H and Shawn Michaels was enough to get me pumped, definitely.
Yeah, I had DX on my list too. It was it's along the same lines, just like the NWO. It brings back the time, and it sounds like so stupid, like, but me as an adult, it brings back a simpler time when that was like the biggest thing that mattered, especially like, I just think summer vacation, being out, dicking around with your friends, backyard wrestling, like you shouldn't have, and then you run home to watch Raw and switch between that and Nitro, so DX, and we always wanted to see that DX versus NWO, but we never really got it,
Never really got it, but got maybe a cough of it at WrestleMania, Sting versus Triple H.
We got a little bit of, that's a
little tease.
Yeah, and that was nice. It was a nice little.
Now, I mean, it was a nice nice nod. It definitely was, because, I mean, of course, now it really couldn't work, but the fact that they were able to throw that in there and we got to see a sweet chin, and, you know, it worked. It definitely worked to pay homage to the past, but keep the present there, too.
Yeah, I actually I had a chance last year to talk to Billy Gunn. He was in town at an indie show, and he was kind of like going through his gimmicks during one of his matches, and you know, we talked about like the whole Chuck and Billy thing, and they used like his Ass Man music. And we got in a brief conversation about music, and I think we were talking about the Billy and Chuck stuff, and he's like, man, he's like, you know what, he's like, yeah, the Ass Man stuff's good, but he said, like, even like, you know, the DX music always got him hyped, you know, and that's coming from Billy Gunn, so it's got to say something there.
Definitely, oh yeah, 100%. Would we Oh, yeah, Stone Cold.
Okay.
Rock version. That specific version.
Is this when he was a bad guy, when Disturbed was doing his music?
Thank you. Yep, that's exactly what it was, because even though the music itself, you know, it's enough soon as the glass shatters, but to have Disturbed in the background of it made it pop even more.
Yeah, it was...
You know, I'm sitting in the crowd, head banging like, let's go.
Yes. Were you at that Invasion pay-per-view they did in Cleveland?
I actually was. Yes, I was. And I'm a little mad about that, especially with you bringing it up, because at that time I didn't know that the floor seats, you could actually take one home as a memorabilia. Oh. And we were down there, because we weren't on the floor. We were like in a club section, but then we went down there because we was trying to say hi to some of the wrestlers who were there, and we got to say hi to a few, but we didn't take any chairs, and people were taking chairs, and then we're on the Rapid Mad, like, wow, we could have had these chairs, because they had, you know, the half, what was it, the half Vince face, half Shane face?
Yeah.
Is that how they did it?
Yeah, that was a unique... Yeah, that was a fun pay-per-view. And then I remember that, and then because when you brought up that Stone Cold theme, it's kind of a funny story, and I kind of laugh at my dad about it. You know, he took me that night, and I spent all this time to make, and I never really did this, but I made a Stone Cold like sign out of like poster board, right? And
okay.
And my he's a pretty chill dude, you know, he just, you know, he'll sit back and watch, but this particular night, as the night went on, I don't know if it was just the matches getting him hyped, or like maybe he had a few cold ones and then he started getting a little bit more hype, but by that time that main event came around, of like Kane and Undertaker were coming out, and Austin came out, and then of course Austin did the heel turn that night. You know, my dad, like, literally was, like, booing, like, losing his mind, and he takes my Stone Cold sign and rips it up right in front of me. Just, and I'm like, really? I'm like, I spent a long time making that sign, you jerk. He's like, oh, you suck.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
But you know what? It made for a great memory, and it's something that I can laugh about to this day. Where it's like, yeah, my dad. It was that one time where it was real enough for my dad, where he got angry and ripped up my sign.
That's hilarious. See, and it's funny you mention that, because that's the one thing I don't like about live events, because you can see things you won't see on TV.
Okay.
So I don't know what side of the ring you were sitting on, but we were on the side where the Titantron was on our left, and we were pretty much diagonal to the ring, so we could see them walk up to the front part of the ring and, you know, go up. So when Stone Cold ended up getting kayfabe injured, we seen him laying there just chilling, like literally just chilling there, just waiting for the time to go. But of course, if you're watching it on TV, they're not showing that. So it's kind of like you get to see everything. It makes you look a little weird from that aspect.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that. We were on the opposite side. We were like kind of way up. Well, not way up. We were up a little ways, but yeah, you know, I think I was at that point. I was still just caught up in the match, but yeah, man, that Stone Cold theme. You know, I had Stone Cold's theme on mine too. Not necessarily the Disturbed version, even though I do love that version. I really just have the classic version just because whenever you hear that glass shatter, you know, people lose their minds. And that's really what I base my list off of, was like, with music like that, you gotta get them with the first note, you know, or the first nuance, you know. And yeah, that was definitely one that, like that, and The Rocks and DX, you know, they all have that little something that lets you know, holy shit, it's, you know, to quote JR, business is about to pick up. And that was something, whenever you heard that glass shatter. That's why Stone Cold is Stone Cold.
Absolutely. You knew he was about business, and you knew something was about to go down. Period, point blank.
Absolutely. Where we at on your list?
We have 4 more. I'm sure one of these have to be on your list. Period, point blank. I'm gonna save my one for last. But
I think
Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels is just, the thing about it. It's the music, but also it's their approach. It's their entrance. Do they sell it well? Are they portraying how the music is going? And Shawn Michaels, especially young Shawn Michaels, when he would, he would do his pose and the pyro would go up, but then when he would go in the ring and do that really quick, long spin with his arms out, it just made it so much better. Like, you looked for his intro. So yeah, definitely Shawn Michaels. Hulk Hogan, classic. Mm-hmm. I'm a Real American, you know, especially we go back to the day where it took him 20 minutes just to get to the ring and the song would loop over.
Yeah, right? I
don't know what type of arenas they were in back then, but those were some long. That's when they used to have the little
the carts.
The little I'm gonna call it a Parada ride.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, man. Like I've never got to see Hulk wrestle, but I went to a Raw where like he was. It was towards the end of his WWE run where he was. I think he was in a feud with Randy Orton at the time, and I went with me and this girl I was seeing at the time, and I remember when Hulk's music hit, everybody lost their minds, but it was like you heard the first note, but then you couldn't hear anything else because the place was just deafening, you know. And that really
it was, yeah.
Now, do you know that theme? That really wasn't originally his theme. No, it was for oh god, hold on. I gotta look it up here. His original theme, do you remember the Hulk Hogan, the Rockin' Boot Gang, or whatever the hell it was? You know what I'm talking about? Wrestling, what was it? The Hulk Hogan cartoon, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay, if you could probably find it on YouTube, you just go to like the intro. It was like the theme song was almost like a slight rip off of like Eye of the Tiger almost. So that was originally his theme because Hulk used to actually come to the ring to Eye of the Tiger, you know.
The more you know. I didn't know that one.
Yeah, let me see. I'm trying to find. I'm typing it in here. Of course, it's taking me a second. It was for a tag team. I want to say it was Power and Glory, if you remember them. Or Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts now. All right, hold up here. It was originally on the Wrestling album. This was released in 1985. Let's see. Okay, it was original. I'm wrong with the tag team. It was Real America was originally intended to be the theme song of the tag team of Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, known collectively as the U.S. Express. On the album, Vince McMahon says the song is dedicated to Windham and Rotunda. However, shortly after the album's release, Windham and Rotunda left for the National Wrestling Alliance. Real American became much better known as the theme song for Hulk Hogan and remains associated with him to this day. So yeah, that really wasn't Hulk's theme at first.
Interesting.
I know, right? I hope that didn't take.
I've heard if you are there first. That definitely that's sweet. That's real sweet. I like that.
Yeah. But he definitely made it his own. I mean, you hear that theme song. They actually played that at our wedding, and it goes back to Shawn Michaels when we did the garter toss. You know, I really wanted them to play "Sexy Boy" so I could dance to the dance floor like an asshole.
I would have paid to see that.
You know, right? But my wife, she put the kibosh on that, but she's like, well, 'cause I wanted to do something wrestling, so they played a Real American. So as they're getting all the single gentlemen to the dance floor, I walked to the ring, walked to the dance floor very confidently. Doing the hand to ear gesture, so that was iconic, I guess, right?
That's very iconic. Hey, it's about compromising, so you at least got that. That's definitely a plus.
I did. I did not. I wasn't able to rip my shirt because it was a rental. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Nice.
So you got a few more. What else do you have in your list?
Batista, still to this day, that I Stand Alone, what's that, Godsmack?
Godsmack did I Stand Alone. I think his was called I Walk Alone. I think Saliva did that, if you remember Saliva.
You're absolutely, Saliva did do that.
What a name for a band.
See, you got me Googling now, because I'm extremely, it really is I Walk Alone. Wow, they must sound extremely similar then.
Yeah, it was like in that era where every rock band kind of sounded like that. So it was everybody's Godsmack at that point.
Okay. Well, that just the fact, him walking out real pumped, hitting his chest, making looking like he's making the pyro come up and stuff. It was the interaction, the interactiveness with him and the music. So that's why Batista's on my list. Yeah. And the last two, which now that I think about Batista, I can't believe I didn't add this person to my list, but he's there. I just forgot to write him. Goldberg, his original music, which I'm glad currently they are using his original music.
Yes.
Because it's, as soon as it hits, it just hits, and the anticipation of getting out there, and I still don't know to this day how he stands between that pyro, and I don't know. Like, I just don't understand how he does it. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, I can even let you say who it is because you already know who it is.
I already know who it is, and it's my number one, too, even though we're not ranking them, but go ahead.
The one, the only, the dead man, Undertaker.
That's right. And this is kind of the one where, like, even, how I said I shied away from The Rock because he had, like, multiple theme songs, but Taker, for some reason, like, all the variations, whether it's the original theme, or, like, the Ministry of Darkness, or, like, the Rocked Up theme from, like 98, it's still like it gets you hyped, you know? Like,
yeah, it definitely does.
And
I would say his music definitely has to be the best music live I've heard. I've witnessed it once. So glad that he was there at a Raw when it came to Cleveland, and just to get the full, the full feel of it and everything, it was surreal. It definitely was.
that is true, and that's one thing that, like, I've said it as an adult, and I remember, like, my dad even saying, like, when we were younger, is you can watch The Undertaker do his entrance on TV, and that's one thing, but it's one of those things when you're live, it's an experience, just the entrance. Like, we were just at Raw, the go-home show for the Rumble, and where Taker comes out at the end, and just when that gong went off, as, it's a whole bunch of us there, and just one gong was enough to send, like, 30-something-year-old dudes into, like, screaming like 12-year-old girls, like losing our minds because of this.
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, anything Undertaker. Do you have like a favorite version of the Undertaker's theme?
It would definitely be a tie between Corporate Ministry and now, when he came back as the Dead Man after doing the whole biker gimmick.
Yeah. Were you a fan of the badass character, or was it something that, like, it took a lot for you to get used to, or did you just hate it?
You know what? I got mixed emotions about it because reading dirt sheets, and we knew that he was going to be coming back. So, to be ready for that, and if I'm not mistaken, when he first came back in that gimmick, it was at the Rumble. I'm almost 95% sure that's how it happened.
I think
so. When the music hit, I'm like, okay, who's that? And then he comes out. I'm like, wait, that's not Taker. I don't know who that person is.
I can't remember where he came back.
Undertaker.
And it was weird because he was like wrestling in jeans, and like blue jeans. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, he had jeans and he had his bandana on. He had his little Harley chaps on with the vest on and everything. I was furious. I was happy he was back, but it's like, part of him, it's that music. It's just that music takes over you, and I was looking forward to that. So when the music didn't hit, I was mad. I'm like, this ain't Undertaker.
Yeah.
What's this? It's like asking for Apple Jacks, but you get like Apple Crisp or something like that.
I know.
I didn't feel like I got the authentic Undertaker.
No, we had to wait a few years for that, so I totally get it. So I had a lot of the ones you had on your list. Like I had Stone Cold, I had DX, I had Taker, I had Hogan. So the different ones that I had was I had Triple H, the Motorhead theme. That's one where that first note, just that first, like, those guitars and everything when they hit, makes me lose my mind.
Is that when you say the King of Kings?
No, this is the Time to Play the Game one, just the straight up Motorhead. That was another one when they teased it. That was the same night that Taker came back, and they teased him coming out to fight Rollins, and it was just like, I think I popped a little bit more for that because I didn't expect it. Love him or hate him, Triple H he's Triple H, and that's a theme that it's kind of like Austin's, where you're like, all right, something's gonna go down,
Absolutely.
Another one I had was a little bit more modern, and this kind of goes along with the more of like the entrance and being there live, was Bray Wyatt's theme.
Live, his theme is so amazing.
Yeah,
it's so amazing. Just the fact, it's so pitch black in there, but then it's so bright in there because everybody got their phone flashlight on.
Yeah, it's again, it's like Taker's. It's like you got to be there to experience it. It's really, really cool there. I had the NWO on mine. What did I say? I said we had DX. I have the Ultimate Warriors theme.
Wow, I didn't think about that. Yeah, to see him run down. Yeah,
that's one guy.
I give a nod for that one, definitely.
Oh yeah, that's one guy where I'm like, oh man, I really wish I could have saw him live. You know,
right.
You know, that is what it is. Another one I have that's a little bit more modern, and this is based on the entrance too, just based on a lot of these on live experience, is Finn Balor. You and I had the privilege of going to an NXT show where he was there. He wasn't in full demon makeup, but it was definitely, you know, the interaction with the fans is really cool as far as his entrance goes.
Yeah, the experience was definitely still there, definitely.
Let's see. I didn't have Jericho's. I'm surprised I didn't have Jericho's. There's so many to really choose from. That's really what it is, you know.
There's so many directions you can go. I mean, for all I care, I could have threw Jericho's on there because Jericho's was one of the hardest things ever for the 10 minutes that they had.
If we're looking for something iconic, there's a couple that come to mind. You love them or hate them. When John Cena's music hits, people definitely react to that. To the point where people are singing. Yeah, they have the sing-along, the John Cena sucks sing-along. Kurt Angle, that's definitely a theme, even though it was originally the Patriots theme. Definitely Kurt Angle. One that's probably not on a lot of people's lists, but this is one that's iconic, that it kind of has a nostalgic feel too. But I still think it's a really good theme musically, and that's Goldust's theme.
You are. Oh man, I want to smack myself for that because Goldust actually is in my top 5, like legit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the beat is so hard, and I would honestly put Stardust up there too because when I first heard Stardust, I'm like. I'm sitting here bobbing my head, and I'm like, yo, my son, like, yo.
Exactly.
Like, I would actually play Stardust in the car. You know what? I'm actually gonna play Stardust in the car tomorrow when I'm driving. Just sitting there, it's all nice and sunny, just yeah.
Exactly.
Go Dust. Yes, absolutely.
And then I had 2 more on mine. And these ones are kind of, I don't want to say obscure, but probably ones that people wouldn't think of off the bat. The first one is Edge's theme, Rated R Superstar theme from Alter Bridge. That was one that just got you hyped, and the entrance was cool. It's kind of along the lines of like Batista's, especially with the pyro, you know?
True.
And last but not least is No Chance in Hell from Vince McMahon's theme. Like,
yeah,
you know. And I guess an honorable mention, you could throw in Shane's theme.
Because money.
Those are 2. Like, I would love to work my way up the ladder at my current place of employment, and then when I get to a certain point, play the Vince McMahon theme and just do the Vince McMahon walk up and down the aisles at work. I would love that.
You're fired.
Exactly. I think that would be a lot of fun, you know. So then,
it would.
Yeah, and you know, those are our lists, you know, and there's so many to pick from, and again, it's nothing but subjective, you know. It's how these themes make you feel, and it's how they get you hyped, and it also has a lot to do with the characters that you fell in love with. So like, we go back to the Freebirds. The Freebirds were the first to really use rock and roll in their entrance theme. I think Gorgeous George
Right.
is the first one to actually use music in general. So those are, definitely the pioneers there. To kind of close out the show, last thing I want to bring up as far as music in professional wrestling is really going to be how we've evolved at events such as WrestleMania, where we have musical performances. We have, especially like America the Beautiful, they usually pick a really great artist to sing it every year. And, I'm not personally a fan of like the musical performances like mid-show, like Kid Rock playing for like 15 minutes for no reason. But I am a big fan.
It definitely takes away from the show.
Oh, yeah, it does. But I am a fan of the of a live band playing the superstars to the ring. Do you have any favorites as far as that goes?
Motorhead doing Triple H, it was definitely sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Trying to think of a few others. Not sure of their names, but when they did Rey Mysterio's 619, that was sweet too.
Oh, yeah, I think it was
Rey Mysterio came out.
He had that weird headdress on, that giant bird on his head.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did. It was pretty sweet. It was memorable. Wow, I really right now I'm having a brain fart. I can't think of a lot of people who had theirs actually performed live.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's few and far between, and I think that's a good thing. Triple H definitely stands out. At Mania 30, Bray and Randy both got live performances of their themes by
They sure did.
And then
You're absolutely right.
One I really like in general, and this is just because I'm a huge fan of this superstar, was I really dug when Snoop rapped Sasha Banks to the ring last year.
That is another one. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
So that's
see what happens. My old mind, I forget.
Oh well, hey man, that's how I am. I'm probably sure I forgot a lot of these too. And I guess like the last thing as far as like performances, I really loved. I think it was, I want to say the last time Mania was in Florida, but John Legend did an excellent version of America the Beautiful, and he's actually he's one of my favorite artists hands down. But like that was really cool, and it was really classy. That's one thing we could say about Vince and WWE's. When it comes to that, they pull out all the stops, So yeah, man, that's really music. We can go on and on and on and on if we talk about themes, and I know we kind of really stuck to WWE and WCW tonight, but I mean we could go on and on talking about that and hype music as far as like video packages and theme songs and all that stuff. But again, we'd be here all night. Yeah. But
yes, we would.
Oh my gosh. But you guys listening live or listening download, let us know. Hit us up on Twitter. It's RWR_wrestling. Let us know what you think. What's your favorite thing? I'm sure we may have hit some of your favorites. I'm 99% sure we probably left some out, because there's so many to pick from and so many to forget about. Let us know what you think, and maybe we'll talk about this another time. Maybe we'll do a part 2 one day. Who knows? You, sir, had an idea for our next episode. You want to talk about that?
Are we referring to greatest finishers?
Yeah.
In wrestling history?
Yeah. I think that's another topic that's subjective, but definitely something to talk about, especially because finishers as they are, sometimes they are borrowed from past performers. And I look at just before we close out, just like one example being the RKO. Some people will say Randy does it great, some people will argue and say, you know what, DDP does it great, and some people will be like, you know what, Johnny Ace did it better.
Absolutely. I think it just goes with personal preference. And, I mean, while we're on the subject, I don't know. I feel it's kind of like, and I know this is not wrestling, but, you know, with the Joker and Batman, you know, Jack Nicholson will always be remembered for being the Joker.
Yes.
But I feel like Heath Ledger definitely upped it times 100 and put his own take on it. So I feel the same way with the RKO over the Diamond Cutter. You know, a lot of people would say, oh man, DDP would just come out of nowhere with it. Well, Randy does the same thing, you know, and then he ups it by, you know, arguably one of the best RKOs ever, the one against Seth, when Seth went to do the curb stomp, and he caught him mid-air, and I felt like they were like 20 feet in the air when he did that.
Yeah, that's definitely, that's something that that's like a little clip that you'll always see in a highlight reel when it comes to either one of those guys.
Always. And remember before that, it was the Evan Bourne one when he would do the moonsault. No, was that a shooting star or a moonsault?
A shooting star, actually, yeah.
There we go. When he would do a shooting star, and I remember it was on Raw, seen it live, and I was like, that's the best RKO ever, and they topped it. So just that's what makes it even better. So yeah, definitely.
And we got all the RKO Vine videos too. So
right.
I might go watch some of those. Those are always pretty funny. So yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Guys, hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up, you know, on Facebook. Let us know, you know, what's your favorite wrestling finisher? You know, who done it better? You know, we'll talk about that. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up and put a bow on this episode?
Hey, we could just put a bow on it. I'm sure they're tired of hearing us. Not really, but, you know. Yeah.
Who knows?
I think we did enough for tonight.
I think we're good, too. Guys, as always, you can check out all past episodes on iTunes, on Spreaker.com. Pretty much anywhere else you can find your favorite pro wrestling podcast. Just type in the words Rebellion Wrestling. We will be there. Or, honestly, the best place to go is right to the source. Go to RebellionWrestling.com. Guys, if you want to support the show, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/RebellionWrestling. Get yourself a kick-ass t-shirt. Get a t-shirt for a friend, loved one, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. Do that. And we will love you a long time. For myself and for Joe, we want to thank you for listening and for being a part of our episode today. And we will see you next week.
Have a nice night, y'all.
Later.